It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Here we go now. The Pete Sousa Show is presented, as always got to make a couple changes here, by Slovakics. We are still on the road. We're at Mom's house in one of the rooms that I spent time growing up in as a kid, Villanova, Pennsylvania. Mom is doing great. The fiance is with me. She's doing just as well, and all is good. And to be able to do these shows from here is a total privilege, because I grew up in this house, always wanting to do this. So to be able to come back here, knowing I'm doing play-by-play and having a show like this on the Rogue Media Network, it's exciting times here. And it's also exciting that Crawford Austin Properties is still along for the ride, as is Socorro Family Ford. We love our friends at Socorro Family Ford. Can't thank them enough. And Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers as well. making this happen for all of us. Scotty Swingler back in the home base in Central Texas, holding it down, got his Blood Brothers barbecue shirt on. By the way, if you want to know about barbecue and how to get ready for fall season, Scotty did a segment about barbecue, and he did it, I guess, when I was out probably 2 weeks ago. And it's getting some traction on social media, and you need to check it out because Scotty can teach you how to barbecue, and he can do a hell of a job. Also, Scotty's show, please bear with me, getting ready to come back as we creep towards the football season. All things Big 12, all things Baylor. We've been kind of locked in a NBA Finals, Caitlin Clark, big juicy story. I'll get to that in a second, Bear the Truth. Bear the Truth wants to know if my mom is still playing Words with Friends with the Pope. I will answer that shortly. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff going on. So let's talk about, oh no, this is what I meant. So with Bear the Truth coming back, Scotty's pod about Baylor football, Bear the Truth. Please bear with me. A lot of friggin' bears. I feel like I'm at the zoo right now. Please bear with me coming back with Scotty and Terrence Ganaway. That's an exciting show. And it gets me revved up because now we're, talking yesterday to Matt Mosley about Matt Eberflus, he mentioned it. We're 40 days away from, NFL training camps opening. And not much further after that, are we going to be kicking it off, the last week of August for college football? I just can't wait. But as a primer, as we do wait, we got the NBA Finals to talk about. And Chris Williams is going to join us, our local sports guy down in Oklahoma City, good friend of mine. He was at the game last night. Will get us caught up on exactly what took place. And I've got all kinds of questions for him. He did an exclusive interview with SGA's dad yesterday. They sat down on the news set. It was really cool. You got to watch it. I want to ask him some questions about that and also what his experience has been like covering this team, especially in the finals. Doc Rivers had a great point, and he talked about how these teams, right? And I love this. He was talking to Bill Simmons, but he said these NBA teams, when they get to the playoffs, okay, you have guys who have played selfish basketball maybe at parts of the year. It's just kind of in their DNA as who they are as players. And things really start to shift as you progress into the playoffs, right? Like you win round one. You start to see guys really, and these are the guys maybe that aren't always on the same page with the rest of the team. And the ultimate goal, right? The main thing, winning. They start to get on board a little bit more. They care less about their personal statistics or minutes, right? They want to win. And then you win in the second round. And then in the third round, the team just continues to come together to be like one. And when you get to the conference finals and the finals, there is just an unselfishness and a greater good that these teams, championship teams, play for. That's why they're still playing, are able to exude. And we're seeing the Oklahoma City Thunder do that. I mean, they came into the playoffs as this ultimate team, right? I mean, you love seeing the post-game interviews. You got like 15 guys there hanging out, waiting for their teammate to be done. And a lot of times that's because they're called over by, teammates like SGA, who's being featured during the post-game interview. I want to ask Chris about that, about how specific the chemistry on this team is. And I want to learn a little bit more about that. And Chris is the guy to ask. So Chris Williams is coming up in segment 2. Last night's game, 120-109, the Thunder win. They take, and I'll call this right now, it feels like a commanding 3-2 lead after winning 2 straight. That game Friday night in Indiana, you just felt like the Pacers had it. They had their shot, going into, and at the end of the third quarter, they let a little bit of the lead slip away, right? We saw Oklahoma City get it down to under 12. Now it was like 4 or 6 by the time the fourth quarter started. And then SGA took over. And I think that there is something to that when you watch these games and you can see, especially in the playoffs, and this is because we're human and these players are human too, you start thinking like, man, we might win a championship here. That the Pacers could be thinking that in game 4 when they're up by 12 in the second half. Ultimately, that league disappears. And now you have the Thunder winning convincingly last night, although it got close for a little bit in the fourth quarter. Scotty sent me a text that said, this is it, Oklahoma City, they're done. The Pacers are coming back. That's not what happened. But it was a TJ, by the way, TJ McConnell's great, right? Like, and let's not get too carried away. He finishes with 18 points. He comes off the bench. I mean, the guy's like 32, 33 years old. His impact on the game, his fingerprints are all over it when he plays. He finished last night with 18 points. And I remember when I was a kid, they had these basketball cards. They were called Skybox cards. And it was the first time, if you remember, I remember flipping over to the backside and they said how much a player would score if they played 48 minutes a night, you know? And I can remember looking at, let's say, like a Chris Washburn card. And Chris Washburn wasn't playing because he had all kinds of problems, but he was like the second pick in the draft by the Warriors out of NC State. And I would look and I would say, man, if Chris Washburn, if they could only get him to play 48 minutes, he'd average 33 points a game. And that's kind of, I get a little misguided with TJ McConnell sometimes too. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's got 18 points. And every time he comes in the game, he makes a difference. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. He is who he is. But he did a great job getting his team back in the game last night. But, you know, Jalen Williams, it was his game last night. Finishes with 40 points. He shot the ball 25 times, 14 of 25 shooting from the field. And what that says to me, and again, I always say this, I preface this, like I didn't work in an NBA front office. I did PR in the NBA for a while. And I've been around a lot of coaches and now calling games for ESPN, college hoops and college football. I have access to a lot of people who have coached or been around front offices and basketball staffs. And I've heard these guys talk about, and women, when you have a star, and I think this goes back, I forget which star said this, but in order for, if I'm just great, I think it was Bill Russell, actually. Bill Russell. He said, if I am just the only great one out there, then my team is not going to be great, right? If I'm great and I leave wiggle room for other guys to be great, then like we are something you really have to contend with. And we saw that last night. When Jalen Williams feels comfortable shooting 25 shots, scoring 40 points, and I know that's nothing new to Thunder fans, but it is to a lot of us watching this run and really watching this team for the first time. That says so much about Shai Gilgeous, who still finishes with 31 points and 10 assists. But it talks about the culture of this team and why they are such a team. On the other side with the Pacers, obviously Halliburton, you could analyze it or litigate it or whatever you want. The guy was hurt. And, you know, you could almost say that maybe he's been hurt for a little bit. And last night it finally really got to him because it didn't feel like in game 4 that he was 100% himself. But look, it's the playoffs. Guys are going to get hurt. That's just what happens, okay? And so you have to play through injuries best you can. And he tried to come back in and have an impact last night and couldn't do it. Finished the game 0 for 6, like I said, 4 points because of an injury. And that's why I think the Thunder are hands down going to win this series now. Remember, I told you guys yesterday that I had put a couple shekels on Indiana when they had a 2-1 lead. And they also had odds in their favor. I mean, I am a sucker, and that's what suckers do. So congratulations, Pete. You continue your suckerdom. Anyways, I feel like the Thunder are going to win now because I just don't think we'll see another Tyrese Halliburton at 100%. But, man, I hope they can win on Thursday night so we can get a Game 7. I love Game 7s. It would be so amazing to have one. And yeah, that's it. One more thing. I have a reason, by the way, we're going to start this off about, I want to talk about, Scott, you want to hold off on that? All right, we'll hold off. Okay. So here's the thing. I've been thinking about that. I'll tease this for you a little bit. The more I watch Oklahoma City and the more I see the makeup of this team, I believe, and I swear this isn't this. this may seem like a hot take thing, but it's more like fun. But it's based on experience I have watching in the NBA, just like you guys have probably, or watching the NBA, being around basketball, like I've mentioned, the front row seat that I have. I feel that there are very good reasons as to why this Oklahoma City team could be a dynasty. And we're going to, I like that headline, by the way. Well done, Scotty Swingler. Are the Thunder playing in dynasty mode? I mean, there's a potential. You know what, Scotty? We're going to do this now. Sorry, pal. We're going to do it now. Okay? Because I want to do this before Chris, because I want to ask Chris about it. And Chris can wait like a minute or two. All right? But this morning, I was thinking about this. As I get ready, because we do, right? We get ready for these shows and we can't wait. And I have my list here, okay, as to why the Oklahoma City Thunder, this is according to me, why it's very possible they could be a dynasty. Number one, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, he is a superstar. And I think last night we saw one of the reasons that there's sustainability here. His ability to defer to teammates, right? And again, we know he's a superstar. Now we're playing for a dynasty. We're trying to put together one of the best teams and best runs in NBA history, okay? Now, to do that, you have to have a superstar who's a badass, who knows when to take control down the stretch, as we've seen, right, throughout this playoffs. Look no further than Friday night when he snatched a victory out of the jaws of defeat on the road at Indiana, giving his team the momentum heading into Game 5, where they just took care of business last night. He scores 31. Jalen Williams has 40. Another thing about SGA is he's just an amazing dude. And I want you to stay with us because, like I mentioned, Chris Williams talked to his dad, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Chris is coming up in our next segment to talk to us about that interview. But to give also a little bit of a behind-the-curtain look as to why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is wired the way he is, right? And when you're wired like that, you've got next level of the court stuff that you bring on the court that can elevate the rest of the team. So they have the right guy in charge on the floor that could quite possibly lead this team to a dynasty. Second, and this is a big one, defense wins championships. No, I am not Nico Harrison. It's unfortunate that Scotty worded it that way. I know exactly what he's trying to do. He's still a prick, even when he's not in the same room as I am. Here's what I mean, okay? And this will play into some of my next points. Don't freak out, but the 1997-98 Chicago Bulls, okay? That defense that they had, okay, Ron Harper, you think about Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, right? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And they were so deep. They had guys coming off the bench. But the bottom line was that their defense, everybody talked about MJ and everybody talked about Pippen, right? But Pippen, I forgot to mention Pippen. Yeah, Bear the Truth likes this because we're talking about the Bulls. But really, they not only had their, like 4 out of their starting 5 was lockdown. I mean, you had Luke Longley, who was serviceable, right? But they were also so deep. Like, they went deep onto the bench. I mean, I'm trying to think, like Randy Brown's a good example. Like, they had guys that could come in and lock you down for like 10, 15 minutes. It's the same thing when you watch the Oklahoma City Thunder and you see different guys coming off the bench into the game. You're like, man, you know, here comes Caruso. Like, that guy can score and he can lock down. So that is something that I think that they can sustain, right? They play great team defense and they have exceptional individual defenders. Those two things with a young team and a strong core, because defense is all about chemistry, right? And they have that. We know that, but they also have the phenomenal skill set. All right, let's get to number 3, and that is Sam. No, what's that? Oh, no, sorry, that's 4. Jalen Williams. Okay, he is a star too. Now, I believe that Jalen Williams, there's something that happened this past offseason with Jalen Williams that I think is exciting, and this leads into my point. Now, we mentioned the 40 points last night. A lot of people, I hate to stick with the Bull stuff, but, you know, I hate to stick with the Bull stuff, but if you think about Jalen Williams, you keep hearing the Scottie Pippen comparison. Okay. I think that is like a little bit of prisoner of the moment, a little bit of a reach, but I also think that it sort of plays into the possibilities. Remember, this isn't a guarantee. I just told you I can't get out of an NBA Finals making a correct bet, but this is a possibility, and this is all the stars aligning for this to quite possibly happen. Jalen Williams, he got better this past offseason. The book on Jalen Williams was make him go right. He can't go right. He can't go right. Well, this season, guess what? He can go right. He can go left. He can go around you. He can go over you. And 3 of 5 last night shooting from 3. He's been efficient from deep. Amazing athlete, the will to get better. And he has shown us that he can get better. And he will continue to get better. And a guy like that makes jumps when you're in the NBA, in a situation like this, understanding his role, that is a very good sign for a team, right? To have a second guy that not only has outstanding talent and moxie and understanding of the game, but also knows that he needs to get better. And a lot of times in this league, some guys can come in and get almost as they're baked already, right? And they don't get much better regardless of what they have natural skill-wise. So Jalen Williams is going to be a huge part of this run, okay? Number 4, Sam Presti. This is my favorite one, okay? Elite move making. And here is the big thing about Sam Presti. You say, hey, Pete, what about 2012, right? That team that lost the NBA Finals to the Heat. Everybody thought that was going to be a dynasty. Unfortunately, Sam Presti made a mistake. He took Serge Ibaka and maybe Kendrick Perkins over James Harden. Now, there's also a lot of evidence that would speak to the fact that James Harden kind of wanted to go his own direction and do his own thing. Surprise, surprise. Now, I mean, I think we believe that. Not that he's like totally selfish, but James Harden's scoring machine. He probably wanted to go put up fireworks, right? He was a 6th man on that squad. Or produce fireworks, I should say, generate fireworks for all the word sleuths out there. But Sam Presti made a mistake, okay? He will not make a mistake like that again. And he's going to come, and by the way, he's going to have to get busy because in a year or two, I think it's not this year, but after next season, there will be some decisions that Sam Presti and the Thunder front office have to make. And they'll have to make sure that they can retain some of this depth, right, defensively. They will have to make sure that they can keep some of these stars and do it the right way. Again, you'll have to make tough decisions. And some of the tough decisions they'll have to make will be around the depth we talked about. This defense is so good. They have to keep that. There's magic in going 7 or 8 deep defensively. So that is another thing. Sam Presti understanding the mistakes he made in the past, okay? Again, you decide you pick Serge Ibaka or Kendrick Perkins over James Harden. That's a tough lesson to learn. But also, again, like I said earlier, I think James Harden wanted out of there anyways. And there's a lot of coverage that will back that up. But that situation was what it was. And you live and you learn from it. And with the NBA and the second apron, there will be more opportunities for a guy like Sam Presti to flex his muscles and to show just how good of an executive he is in keeping this team together. And by the way, it seems like they want to stay together. And that's a huge reason. And we're going to chat with Chris Williams about some of that chemistry coming up here in a moment. All right, number 5. Let's wrap this up, Scotty. There you go. The captain, Mark Daigneault. And this is a guy who hasn't gotten much credit at all. And for me in particular, because I am old school. And Rick Carlisle has been in my life for a very long time. And we've seen some of the changes that Rick Carlisle has made throughout this playoff run that have really helped his team, right? Have catapulted them to a situation like the NBA Finals. I think we've talked a little too much about Rick Carlisle and not about Mark Daigneault. When you think about, you can go all the way back. Again, I heard Doc Rivers say this, okay? Doc talked about when they won the Commissioner's Cup and they beat the Thunder, okay? Then this is seems like forever ago. But he said, look, we knew we were just going to get physical and we were going to wear those guys out physically and they weren't going to be able to beat us. And he said, and that's what we did. And he said after the game, he heard Mark Daigneault say, hey, this is a lesson for us. It's an opportunity for us to get better as a team, play more physical basketball, right? Clearly, down the second half of the season, I mean, this is one of the best teams and best seasons we have seen in some time. They found a way to beat everybody, and they found a way to beat you with so many different ways, and you could no longer overwhelm the Thunder with strength or veteran leadership or guys that could throw you around the paint. Like, they adjusted to that. And that's got a lot to do with Mark Daigneault. Also, his substitution patterns as the finals have gone on, I felt like, and this was the idiot in me, I was like, oh, wow, Rick Carlisle, the Pacers have figured something out. The pacing of the game is going to wear SGA out, and that's how they're going to win. Dude, that's a simpleton like me, right? That was a game 3 situation where Rick Carlisle made a shrewd move, and Mark Daigneault was able to totally adjust to that, right? And you see now, down the stretch, these guys are fresh. They just are. And that's different. That speaks to his ability to coach in critical moments. So I feel like he not only has a team that he's kept together and has kept so unselfish, but he's also shown us wrinkles in his ability to be a coach and to make the right decision on the biggest stages. Now, if they lose the next 2 games, we're going to delete this off of YouTube. It will never exist anymore. Okay? But for right now, it looks pretty good. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacic's coming back. We're going to talk to an expert, an actual expert, a guy who was there, right? Chris Williams, good friend of mine, coming back. Channel 9 in Oklahoma City. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com.
I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
All right, let's go to Oklahoma City. I mean, where else would you rather be than Oklahoma City with my guy, Chris Williams? What's happening, dude?
Oh, Pete, couldn't sleep last night. Ears ringing from the arena, the excitement. Oh, man, just tossing and turning.
I mean, I got to start with a vibe check on just the arena, the electricity pregame, and honestly, the sound and the noise inside that building. For folks like me watching from home, can you convey what the environment was like?
I mean, I don't even know if I can do it justice. Even Pat McAfee was admitting how loud it was. I wear earplugs during these games, and it doesn't feel like I'm wearing earplugs because I can still hear everything so clearly. They call it Loud City, the upper bowl of the arena that's posted on the walls up there and everything, and they take pride in just yelling 24/7. And what's cool, going back to your 5 keys, defense wins championships. Defense is so much of this team. They get louder when they get a big stop or a steal on defense than when they knock down a 3 on the other end. It's unbelievable.
I think that speaks to the knowledge of the sports fan, too, in Oklahoma City and their understanding of basketball. You covering the finals for News 9. This is, I'm guessing, your first NBA finals.
Yeah.
So what was with all the pageantry, all the celebrities, all the, ESPN's there, the whole deal. What was if you had one, welcome to the NBA finals moment? Did you see something where you were like, man, that's kind of crazy?
They've been shooting Get Up and some of the ESPN morning shows. They've been using our second studio. So pretty much, I'm sitting at my computer working. Stephen A. Smith is just walking by with his sleeves rolled, his little swagger saunter. We did an interview with Kendrick Perkins, of course. He played here. Our sports director knew him back then, sat down with him, and standing next to him, I can't imagine a larger human being. I'll have to stand next to Shaq at some point, but Kendrick Perkins is massive. And watching him sit and just the chair disappear underneath him, that was pretty big. I saw Windhorse was in the studio yesterday. Chance to talk to SGA's dad. All of these things have just been kind of like, wow, like this wouldn't be happening if the team I happen to cover happened to be really, really good. So it's been a blast.
It's really cool. I mean, honestly, and it's really cool for careers like yours, or even if you're on the team, like an assistant coach, like a rising tide lifts all ships, right? Really, I mean, it's great for you. It's great for everybody around in that orbit. You mentioned, I got to find out about this interview with SGA's dad, Vaughn. It's on, you posted it on Twitter. It's a great interview. I'm encouraging people to make sure you go to Chris's Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, by the way?
Seawill TV.
Seawill TV, baby. All right, go to Seawill TV. Watch the interview. It's really well done, and you could tell he was enjoying his time with you. In your time with him, what about SGA's dad? I guess makes sense to you now after talking to his dad why SGA is so successful. Was there a tenet of his personality you think that is in SGA that a lot of times we're products of our parents?
Yeah. I mean, we have people in our control room, the directors, punching the buttons, producers who don't know much about sports, and they come out of it. They're like, he sounds just like Shea, not only in the way they talk, but the stuff they say, talking about the consistency. Every question you ask, boils down to the process behind it, right? Are you surprised seeing your son be a global superstar? He's like, well, it's hard to wrap my head around, but I saw what he was doing at 11, 12, 13 years old. He told a story. So Nikhil Alexander for the Timberwolves, Shea's cousin, of course, they played against each other Western Conference Finals. He said that they used to just disappear sometimes. There'd be panic. Then all of a sudden Shea would call, Dad, we're at the Y shooting back. And he's like, you got to tell us. But they were getting up early to go to the YMCA. They were, the exact same things that Shea talks about with the consistency, with the process, with just doing things the right way for long enough and not caring if people are noticing or not because you trust in the long-term plan. It was the exact same answers. It was fascinating to hear.
One of the things that you guys talked about during that interview was the day that SGA was traded to Oklahoma City. And it's funny, I have heard Doc Rivers talk about it because he was the Clippers coach. And, Lawrence Frank was in the front office doing the deals. But Doc was like, I remember he said, we're making SGA a part of the deal. And he said Sam Cassell, who was on his staff at the time, was like, dude, this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just certain people knew the magnitude of that move. What did his dad tell you about that day and how they responded to it?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because, of course, Shea's talked about the positive of coming to this city, how well received he's been, that side of it. But it was nice hearing his dad say, look, he had just settled down in LA. He had 1 season under his belt, not even a full year in the city. His agent lived there. Life was good. And then he's moving to Oklahoma City, small town. They're from Canada, so they probably, they know even less about Oklahoma City than most. And he said there was a big feeling of letdown. And then he said it was about 10 minutes later that they got on the phone again. And it was like, you know what, Shea? This is a chance for you to be you. This is a chance for you to take center stage. Other people don't understand it, but me as your father, you being yourself, putting in the work, we know what you can do. We know what you can be. And it worked out. And he pointed out, like, his points per game went up from 9 to 19 in 1 season. That doesn't happen just from an off season of work. It happens also from being put in a situation where you can succeed. So it was fun hearing that because it was nice hearing him admit, look, we were disappointed at first.
Yeah.
But then it came, okay, this is a blank slate to work with. And I followed that up with asking him, okay, well, what about the tank years? Because they were winning 20 games his first couple seasons.
Yeah.
And he said they wasn't even a thought in their mind about it because they knew if we trust the process and we do things the right way, it's going to work out the way it's supposed to.
And it's easy.
It worked out pretty well.
Well, and it's worked out amazing, right? But that is a great little nugget at the end there. It's probably easier to trust the process when you got a guy like Sam Presti calling the shots. And SGA, his dad, they're no dummies. So it's a little easier to turn your will over in a situation like that. Talking about this team as a whole, how have you seen them grow? Because we know they were really close before the playoffs started, but they've gotten even closer if that was possible. Have you seen that before your own eyes? Like as the postseason has gone on, you're like, man, these guys are even more in sync.
Yeah, definitely. There's, you know this, the NBA playoffs and then the NBA finals put a magnifying glass on everything. And that means it puts a magnifying glass on everything good and it puts a magnifying glass on everything bad. And so all season long, you heard these players like Aaron Wiggins, Casey Wallace talk about, we have a role to play. When my number's called, I go in there. That's easy to say, harder to do. A lot harder to do when all of a sudden you go from playing 20 minutes in game whatever of the Western Conference Finals to 2, because that's how the rotations have been. And Isaiah Hartenstein was pulled out of the starting lineup for the first time all season in game 1 of the NBA Finals. I don't think that was a great idea, but he continued to say, look, it's hard, but I'm doing what I'm called upon to do. When I'm in the game, I'm going to give it my all. And he just continued to stay the course. So it's like all these things that they did all along when it was easier to do, they're continuing to do now that it's really, really hard to do it. And that's been fun to watch. That's maturity. That's all these growth things have been happening right before our eyes over the course of the last 20 games.
What was it like in the building last night when, Tyrese Halliburton kind of pulls up lame and heads back to the locker room. Were you close to that, or what was the scene there?
It didn't feel like that was a big point of emphasis in the arena. I mean, it felt like when Jalen Williams hit his head early in the game and people, he got up kind of holding it like this and went off. That felt like a bigger moment of what's going to happen here on that side of things. But obviously the Tyrese 0 field goals turned out to be a big deal. But you didn't get the feeling in the arena that it was like, okay, Tyrese is out. They're going to run away with this thing, especially when Pascal Siakam and TJ McConnell's playing like an MVP somehow. So
TJ McConnell's unbelievable, right? It's like the dummy in me is like, they should just start him. But then we know how that goes. Talk to me a little bit about Mark Daigneault. Like, what has he been like with the media over the course of the season? What have you been able to glean from being around him? Because, I was saying before you came on, I know you caught the tail end, like, I do feel like things are kind of shaping up for a possible dynasty, and just floating that out there when you see like it's a young team, a young coach, they're playing together, their defense is awesome, they go deep. What about him makes you almost believe me there? Like, why is he so good right now as a coach?
Yeah, well, I will say this. We have a Thunder reporter who is beat reporter, travels home and away all season long, and he's done it for the last 10 years. And he said of all the things Sam Presti has done, the guys he's drafted, the smartest thing he's ever done was hire Mark Daigneault from their G League team to take over their main NBA team for the Thunder, because he is just mentally, he's so analytical. He's able to take a step back and look at every part of it, but he also just manages the egos, and they all feed off of this energy of just selfless. He's so humble. He truly doesn't want the attention. When you ask him questions, he's not going to give an answer for theater and show, which, on TV, you kind of want those answers sometimes. You want those bites you can run. He's going to give you an analytical answer about what he thinks happens, and he truly is going to look at every game as an opportunity. And it's human nature to let things feed into each other. Everyone says one game at a time. He's as close as you can get to truly taking it, scrubbing it. Next game's all that matters. Going to learn, going to do the best. He was out-coached a little bit in the early part of the series, a lot of it by Coach Carlisle. He's not one to go run into his little rabbit hole or anything. He stays in there and says, okay, this is what we're learning. We're going to stay in the trenches, and we're going to just come back and do it the right way. He is an incredibly unique coach. I've never been around a coach like him where the ego's non-existent, and they are truly able to just take everything head on, one issue at a time.
All right, so take us behind the curtain now over there at News 9. I don't want you to give away too many secrets, but there's got to be, and this is why it's okay, you have nothing to do with the Thunder officially, but you guys are now probably preparing for them to win the title. What any like preparation, like, are you guys looking at how you'll cover the parade, how, what will happen if they win on the road and the team comes home? I mean, that's stuff that you're probably thinking about right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've been at the airport when the team comes home. Which is less impressive than the fans that have been out there, but we've been sending our overnight photographer there all through the playoffs. It's a tradition when they come home from these road trips and the final game of the season to have all the fans there, and we've been going. I know that we are there has been a process of preparing for a championship parade. And my understanding is that we would be the TV partners for a parade.
Let's go. News 9. Let's do it. I mean, dude, you got First Take going on in your studio. I mean, that's parade.
But I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't know. Okay. I'm sticking to the basketball side of things now. You still got to win 2 games. Pacers are excellent when their backs are against the wall. But as you can imagine, we would go big if they're able to.
How about? We'll finish up with a basketball question. How do you feel, again, team you've been covering all year long, about their ability now to take that huge win, right, kind of compartmentalize it and go on the road and still play, like their life depends on it? What do you expect out of this team in Game 6? And what we know, whether Tyrese Halliburton is 500% or 50%, it's going to be crazy in there. Yeah. And I've heard coaches say this too, role players play better at home. And so there'll be an opportunity for the Pacers to kind of reach deep on their bench. And, they played well at home. They almost won 2 games. So what do you expect out of the Thunder for game 6?
And there's no doubt the Thunder role players last night, Aaron Wiggins, Case and Wallace, shot the ball way better at home.
Yeah.
I would say, as crazy as it sounds, the game 4 win was a bigger win for this franchise. And they needed it. They couldn't go down 3-1. They didn't play well. They found a way to win it. So the question you just asked was the question we were asking heading into game 5, where it felt like the Thunder had the momentum. It also felt like the pressure was on. How can they compartmentalize this? Now it feels like, okay, they did it great and they're over the hump. And so I expect them to come out and play great basketball. I think there's a good chance that they're going to win it in 6. And I feel good saying that because before the last break, you said you would scrub this episode if, they don't end up winning the series. So I feel good putting that out there.
Yeah.
But this team has responded well. I know we saw them in a few series earlier where, like Denver, they could have closed it out and didn't. But I think that they are playing great basketball. I think when you go down to the core of it, they're a better basketball team than the Indiana Pacers. I think if you played this in a regular season series, they're probably winning 6 of 7, if not all 7 of them. I think they'll be favored in Vegas. I think they should be favored in Vegas, and I would count on them winning it in 6. I really think this team is going to come out there and just build off of the last 2 wins and get it done.
All right, well, that's good knowledge for your newsroom there. You guys know how to prepare for the parade now, maybe a little bit earlier. Game 6, Chris has them winning. Chris Williams, SeaWill TV, by the way. I'm telling you guys, if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, just go to Chris's Twitter, SeaWill TV, and check out that interview he did with Vaughn, Shai Gilgeous' dad. It was really good, dude.
I'm going to put another story up today in a few minutes here. I was able to talk to Cody Williams, J-Dub's younger brother.
Yeah.
He plays for the Jazz, just finished his rookie season. And it ended up being a pretty fun Zoom interview I did with him Sunday. So I'm going to put that up too.
What's the number one thing about that interview that you were kind of piqued your interest?
Well, a lot of these NBA guys can have the tendency to try to be cool and just kind of answer questions on the baseline and everything. Cody was just fun. He talked about how nervous he is when he said when he's playing calm and cool, he has that personality. He said when Jalen's playing, he's freaking out, anxious, all of it. So it was fun. And then I asked him to clear up, the height discredit. J-Dub says he's 6'6", Shai calls him 6'4", and Cody goes, I think he's only 6'3". So it was fun. It was a different side of it to look at, and so it's been so much fun, Pete. Covering this whole thing has been unbelievable.
And it's been awesome to watch your star rise at the same time, dude. Chris Williams, News 9 in Oklahoma City, SeaWill TV. Check him out, Chris. Thanks so much, dude.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. That's Chris Williams. Man, he did a great job, and he always does. And it's really cool to get, I love hearing like the wrinkles of what's happening around the events and around, the teams, because that access, I think so often, I'm lucky because I get to call games for ESPN, so I get to go to the arenas, but so often now we're doing our jobs from a position where we're not going to the games a lot, and it's unfortunate. So media and credentialed media are so important to us still, and to be able to let them, guys like Chris, convey to us the heat of the moment. Awesome stuff. All right, Pete Sousa Show on Slovakics coming back, or presented by Slovakics, coming back after this. Scotty in the studio seems to have a bug up his ass about my list as to why Oklahoma City might have a dynasty. Scotty, I will turn the tables, open the microphone to you when we come back after this short break.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoaaLusa.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
All right, where is he? Where's Scotty? Scotty, okay, there he is. So Scotty Swingler. By the way, look how much better my camera is. I had like all kinds of crap on it. I guess I cleaned it off.
Looks good, Pete. How's it going, partner?
Well, let me see. I want to see. So I gave my reasons for the possibility of a Thunder Dynasty, right?
You did.
Can we put them back up? I won't go through them all again, but. And I don't care if you put them on my face or whatever. Or your okay, good. Put them on your face. So there they are. Shea, defense, Jalen Williams, Sam Presti, and Mark Dagnall. Now you want to go back and watch, you can see it, okay? But we don't have too much time. I got to let Scotty. Now, are you going to refute what I said?
Yes.
Well, that's a little disappointing.
Well, Pete, here's the thing. I told you when you texted me about this topic earlier this morning that I disagreed with you, and I was going to give you some friendly argument back in the other direction. And see, you took 12 minutes and used your gift of gab and eloquence to try to convince folks of why this one is the dynasty now. I am just simply going to present facts. And I would love to hear if you can refute them, because I simply think you cannot. Here's my list. If you say, are the Thunder playing on Dynasty mode? I say, no, they are not. And here's why. Number one, there are too many stars in the game, and they are almost all in the Western Conference. I did some exercises with ChatGPT this morning, such as I ranked my 20 best NBA players currently. 13 of them are in the West, 7 of them are in the East. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at names here. If you're just looking at the Eastern Conference, okay, Giannis, arguably the best player in the world still. Like, he is that good. But Pete, who's the second best player in the Eastern Conference? Joel Embiid can't ever play. Jason Tatum just had a catastrophic injury. We hope and pray he comes back that good again, but we don't know. Is it Halliburton? Well, unfortunately for me, who was really rooting for him in this finals, he kind of like blew it last night. Cade Cunningham? Like, who are we talking about as the second best player in the Eastern Conference? If you look in the Western Conference, Shea, Luka, Jokic, Wembanyama, Ant Edwards. I just named 5 who are going to be around for the next 10 years, not to mention LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant currently, Anthony Edwards. Like the Western Conference has been for 20 years and is still so much deeper than the Eastern Conference. I don't know how the Thunder consistently roll through the West. Number 2, there's not enough cash to go around. You're going to have to pay Jalen Williams a lot of money. You're going to have to pay Chet a lot of money. All these guys are going to start demanding money. You're going to pay Shea the Supermax. Like, he's going to get his money. And Pete, I agree with your praise of Sam Presti. I think he's one of the best GMs in the sport. But with the new CBA restrictions and the aprons and all that, that makes it more difficult to keep a super team together. I just don't know how Jalen Williams particularly is going to stay when he can go get a max deal to be like some team's alpha in a couple years. I just don't know how you put together the contracts to keep this core together. Number 3, because there's not enough cash to go around, there is now more NBA parity than ever before. Pete, this is the 7th finals since 2019 where we will have a different NBA champion. There are 7 different teams who have won NBA championships in the past 7 years, starting with the Raptors in 2019 and now likely the Thunder. But even if it's the Pacers, the stat remains the Thunder here in 2025. We have not had a team repeat or put together a run since the Golden State Warriors in the mid-2010s. That was a decade ago now. I just don't think this is going to happen as often, and it is going to be more difficult. Somebody else, maybe an 8th team, or maybe like a team coming back for the first time in 6 years, Lakers, are going to win it next year, right? Number 4, Pete, this is just reality. The reason Shaquille O'Neal, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are absolute legends is not only because they were epic basketball players, but because they were able to stay healthy as 7-footers. It isn't the norm. It isn't the norm. You know this well with Joel Embiid. Dude cannot stay healthy. When I was growing up here in Texas, Yao Ming was one of the best players in the NBA when he could play, but he could not sustain a long career. When you are that big and tall, your feet, your legs, you don't stay healthy. Chet Holmgren in particular, not hating on the bro. Outstanding basketball player. That dude weighs as much as I do, and I'm 5'7", okay? I just cannot comprehend him staying healthy for a long period of time. I think it's honestly remarkable, and I give him credit and Oklahoma City staff credit for keeping him healthy through this run. But
by the way,
I think
7'1", 208. That's his,
bruh.
Which is probably generous with the weight. Go ahead.
Bro, I don't weigh 208, but I have in my life, not currently, but I have in my life weighed as much as 170. Yeah. So that is absolutely insane because he is a full ass 1.5 taller than me.
7'1". Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, you talked about Jalen Williams and SGA. The third piece of that big three, I just cannot see him sustaining his career very long. Just the odds are not with him. I hope he does, but the odds are not with him. And then fifth, this is the peak, Pete. This is it. They have peaked. This is the climax of a 15-year Oklahoma City Thunder ascension. When you're trading stocks or crypto, the key to making money is you want to buy in the dip and trade at the peak. I think this is a cool story. I wish the Thunder congratulations, but I think this is the peak for all of those reasons I just said. You've got too many young stars out west. You don't have enough cash to sustain. Other teams are coming for you quickly, and I don't know how Chet Holmgren keeps playing for a long period of time. Sell the stock. The Thunder are not playing on Dynasty mode.
Okay, so can I refute? Because that was you did.
Of course
a great
you can.
job. I didn't
course
go
you
as
can.
far to say you did better than me. But here's how I would respond. Okay, you said too many stars, right? In the rest of the NBA, right? In the
Western Conference,
Yeah.
in the Western Conference specifically.
Yeah, I think that is the magic that the Thunder have, is that they have a star, but they also have rising stars around him, and they understand how to play with each other, right? Now, what happens if they win this championship? Pat Riley calls it the disease of me, right? Like, and that happens a lot after a team wins a championship. Like, am I getting mine? So I think Oklahoma City is put together the right way where they can manage the emotions. And on the floor, they've learned how to play with their star, while other teams have proved incompetence with theirs. Okay. I mean, I would say that, like, a lot of the guys that we call stars, they're not playing right now, right? That's why we have two fresh faces in this finals. Okay. You said the cash thing with Sam Presti. That is the best point. That is what can really, I mean, legitimately, it's like, how does he pull off keeping some of these guys intact, especially after we said, that disease of me where everybody wants to get theirs, what is a hole right now can splinter, right?
Jalen Williams is going to go be a number one somewhere. He is.
We'll see. And that's why I wouldn't put the faith in any other GM than Sam Presti. And I just think he knows how to manage a situation like this, and maybe he's learned. Now, to what you're saying, it's a numbers game. Like, there's only so much you can do. So he'll have to do a great job reloading too. And I think a lot of that depth will disappear, and he'll have to reload that. We'll see if he can keep the stars there. He'll have to pull off some serious magic. All right, parity, you said. Okay, my response to that is the door is open for someone to go on a run and break out into dynasty mode. Like, never before has the NBA, or never in recent years, been so ripe for a team to step up and go on a run.
Okay, sure, but we could have said that about Boston. We could have said that about Milwaukee. We could have said that about LA. Like all of these teams have theoretically been. I mean, I think Milwaukee and Boston in particular, because of how I feel about the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, were kind of set up to do that. And it's just hard. It's just hard in today's day and age. I mean, we can talk about the Jason Tatum injury, but the Knicks were whooping the Celtics before that. So I just don't think the odds are in favor of. And honestly, I was saying on the Zach Owen show this morning, it gives you an appreciation for the Spurs when they were on their run, the Lakers and the Bulls when they were on their runs, the Warriors 10 years ago. Like, those feats, I think, are more impressive than we maybe think they are, rather than normative.
I totally agree. And that's why when leagues are at their best as far as excitement, attention, is when a team is on a dynasty. Like if you get a dynasty in your league or your sport, that is very good for business, because it really is something that is so compelling and people can't take their eyes off it, whether you want to root for or against. So it is really hard, and that's why it's really special. And that's why, this is we're having some fun here. Okay, I'll respond to your Chet Holmgren. I had no idea he was going to catch strays, but at 7 feet tall, 7'1", I guess he's big enough to catch him. He played all 82 games last year. Okay, this year he's played 32. I will say this about Chet Holmgren: he has to get stronger. It is, but I'll say with him, and I'm not taking sweeping shots at all these other guys, but I will kind of put Embiid in there and some of these load management dudes. Like Chet wants to play as much as he can play. Like any second he is able to play, he will play. Like the mentality of the dog mentality is there. To your point, he has got to get bigger. He's got to get stronger. I think it was Scotty B, the Baylor King, says Chet needs to get to 240, which I think Scotty B is a great point. And so 240 might be a little aggressive because I think 208 right now is a little generous, but he's got to bulk up. He's got to bulk up.
And listen, Pete, like love the kid, love his attitude.
Of course,
we want players who want to be on the court. So all those things are a credit to him. But we've seen with big men in the NBA, it is such a fine-tuned science. Like Zion has struggled because he weighs too much. And then
Zion's a screwball. That's another thing. Like really like that. And that's the one. You just brought up a great point. That is one of the intangibles of this team. They lack a lot of the bullshit that other teams, front offices, coaches have to deal with. And now it is usually a finite situation when you get something like this. It's like anything in life that you're enjoying, right? Man, it's never been this good. Well, it probably won't be this good for too much longer. So enjoy it, right? Like that's just kind of that's life. I mean, the only thing that's consistent in life is change. But I do believe that these guys have the makeup and the lack of ego that Chris was talking to us about, from the coach all the way down, that there's an opportunity to circumvent a lot of the stuff that organizations have to deal with when we're talking about stars. Like Luka getting traded from Dallas, now he's in LA. Like, dude, of course, we love Luka, right? I mean, like, crazy about him. But, like, there's some stuff there. We don't know, whatever, but like.
Have you seen photos of him in the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, my favorite was a comment. Do you have any of those? But so
I don't have any loaded in.
He's ripped. So now he's ripped. People can see.
He looks like he's about to go on his Rambo season.
But I did see a great comment, which is not a shot at Luka, but just like a shot at any basketball player who gets out of shape. It was like, you would think that playing basketball for a living would put you in this good type of shape all the time. It's like, what's going on? How do these guys even get out of shape like that? It's your job to run up and down the floor. I always get a kick out of dudes that get big.
We've done the Luka talk round and round and round. I will just conclude with this, Pete. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with this is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He rockets past for me in terms of legacy. Guys like James Harden, who maybe have put up really gaudy numbers but could never perform in the playoffs. Like SGA has really solidified himself in this run as one of the best to ever do it. The team is incredible around him. You're right about Presti. But if I were putting money down today on June 17th, 2025, and you're like, the Thunder get 2 or 3 more, or Ant Edwards gets one, Luka gets one, Ja Morant finds a way to get one, freaking San Antonio with Wemby and Castle and the number 2 pick this year and De'Aaron Fox find a way to get one. The Warriors find a way to get back Butler and Curry and Kerr. Like, I'm going to put money on the field in the Western Conference.
Which, of course, that's the smart play. Okay, I'm playing the odds. I'm always living and dying with the long shot over here.
Yep.
All right. So, all right. Well done, Scotty. I'm happy we had this conversation. You didn't have to leave like that, but okay. What constitutes a dynasty? Bear the truth. You asked this question at 11:05. What constitutes a dynasty? Okay, in my opinion, because I was thinking about this a little bit, and I'll even give, like, there's a dynasty, like the Bulls with Michael Jordan, like the Patriots, right? Where you just constantly the Spurs, right? I think the Warriors, you would say, you have to win like 3 or more titles in 6 years, right? Or that type of body of work. There's also like dynasty light teams. Like, I'll go to my Philadelphia Eagles. Like they every year you turned around, they were in the NFC Championship, like every year, but they never won a Super Bowl. And Jeffrey Lurie, their owner, called the Eagles the gold standard. Well, they really weren't because they didn't win a championship, but it was still an amazing accomplishment for the Eagles to do what they had done. And I kind of had them in like an upper echelon of the NFL. Eventually they get the Super Bowl with Howie Roseman. I mean, basically the same guys. He had a new coach, but eventually, the Eagles got theirs, and then they get another one. So now they are the gold standard. But there are some teams that can kind of be like, Dynasty light. But I in my opinion, it's like 3 titles in, I think 6 is too aggressive. 3 or more titles in 7 or 8 years. Scotty, does that make sense? I know you got to leave.
No, you're good. Yeah, we've got a sales meeting in a minute, but I really liked your 3 and 6. I think that's a really good way to do it. Actually, I think that all the teams I'm thinking of reached that benchmark, and all those dynasty light teams you're talking about did not. So like a dynasty light team would be like LeBron and Wade's Heat. You made 4 NBA finals, but you only won 2. I don't put that in
the Atlanta Braves in the 90s.
Bingo. Right. I don't put them in the same category as Golden State or San Antonio or Chicago. I think 3 and 6 years is a really reasonable way to do it. I don't think you can be a dynasty if you just got 2.
Okay.
And I would say if it was 3 over a decade, like you're probably pretty close depending on some other factors. But yeah, you could be pretty spread out there. So Brian, our Dallas Cowboys in the 90s definitely qualifies.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
All right. We're wrapping up tomorrow. We didn't get a chance to do this last week because we got screwed over. We taped a whole show about this, and somehow legit we lost it. But it's all about the Big 12 basketball schedule release. We haven't talked about that at all. And also last week, Magic Johnson mentioned what constitutes a superstar. And we're going to talk about that. What does constitute a superstar? Magic says it's somebody who can sell out opposing arenas. I tend to agree with that. More to come. The Pete Sousa Show carries on tomorrow. Thank you, Slovacics. Thank you so much, Sakura Family Ford. Thank you to my mother for allowing me to do this show out of my childhood home. So many memories here. See, look at that guy. Huh? He was trouble. All right. The Pete Sousa Show. That's it. Thanks, Slovacics. Thanks, D1. Thanks, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, Crawford Austin Properties. We'll check you out tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.